Hey everybody, how you doing? I know you can't see who I am, but you know who I am. I am Pastor O, otherwise known as Pastor O. Okay. Oh, it's the holiday, Memorial Day, and this beautiful day. I'm up here at the E-Course waterfront. Let me see if I can swing y'all around, let you see what's going on. There go some of the people who was involved in the celebration. They usually call me up every year so I can do the prayer, invocation, and benediction. Okay, the phone might be a little bit shaky because, okay, well that's okay. Anyway, we're gonna take us a little ride along. Y'all can ride along with me in my hot boy, my 99 RT Kota. Right then, yeah, it's kind of shaky, might get a little dizzy, but that's okay. Oh, let me get these windows up a little bit. Kind of cool up here by the water. It's the little bitty city where I live called E-Course, Michigan, and this is the waterfront, Dingle Park, they call it. This is where the folks come to hang out at. Oh, all day, it's a great day. But it's a good day. Any day in the old hot rod is a good day. Any day I get to get it out of the backyard and take it somewhere is a good day. This is my 1999 RT Kota. That's what I call it. Amen. Bought this thing for $1,800. Did all the work on it myself. You can go to my YouTube page and you can check out the complete build-up. I think it's about 16 different videos. But anyway, the guy I got it from did some work on it, and then I just had to take it the rest of the way. Okay, I wish I could stabilize you a little bit there. Hopefully y'all don't shake up and, amen, all out. But anyway, I'm a preacher, so you're probably gonna hear amen quite a bit, amen. Yeah, preachers all get the amen. We become addicted to amen, amen. But anyway, I get a chance to come out and take me a cruise in the old boy. When I got this truck, like I say, you can look at the videos and you'll see it was a complete mess. So what I did is I took off the kegger and completely tore the top of the motor all the way down. The heads look good, so I didn't bother them. Come to find out, the guy who sold it to me, who built it, who did some work on it before I did, told me what he did, and I'm glad I didn't pull the heads because he already had new gaskets and everything else. So what I did was pulled off the kegger, stripped it, cleaned it thoroughly, and then coated it with some 2,000 degree paint, and cleaned the valve covers, made them shine again, painted them, and didn't have to change no lifters or rocker arms or push rods. It was all good. Everything was good. Did get rid of the air conditioner. Well, actually, he had already gotten rid of the air conditioning motor, but he didn't take it out. So I modified the air conditioner holding bracket just so it hold the alternator, and that freed up that little bitty hose that sat right underneath that bracket for the air conditioner compressor. I mean, that thing was something else. But anyway, it's all cleaned up and good to go. And then I got a little problem with I don't know how this happened, but somehow he managed to put the wrong dust shield in the transmission because he put a new trans in it, because he blew up the other one, spinning it around in circles. And if you know anything about transmission, heat kills. And so he killed it. And not only did he kill that, good. It wasn't bent or twisted. So it was all good. And so I didn't have to bother with any of that. I just redid the back brakes completely, redid the front brakes completely. Had to, somebody had stripped out where you bolt the caliper bolts in. They stripped that out, had to put some inserts in there and fix that. And he had some eBay headers on there. I could have kept them, but I don't like them. So what I got was some pace setters from Summit Racing, and I put those on there. But before I did, I cleaned them, stripped them, and then I coated them with some, I think it's 28,000 or something. Some super high temp VHT paint, ceramic coat, and it turned out really well, and I'm thankful for that. And then I went up to the muffler shop I used to work at and had my guy Chris at Wearmaster Muffler, or Park Wearmaster now, on 4th Street in Lincoln Park. He does all my systems, all my race cars. I ran in a class that you had to have exhaust system. Of course, the mufflers I used were straight through, but they were legal. And he did all 3 of my systems. I never had a problem with them at all. And so when I started to put this truck together, something with a dashboard in it, because I've never had I had a dashboard in my GTX, but it was gutted, okay? In my 70 Kota, that was a chassis car, so it had nothing in it. The dash was made out of aluminum, but it was nice until the sun shined on it and I couldn't see out of it. But anyway, I fixed that. Just had to coat it with something, that's all. And that thing was fun. It only weighed 3120 with me in it. Had the big 1432 slicks on it. The reason I sold that car is when I wore the slicks out and I had to repurchase some. I had previously sold my GTX to my brother, and he went to work on it, put mini tubs and all that stuff in it. And so I ended up not liking the Kota because it cost too much to replace stuff. So I sold it to my brother, and he gave me back the Roadrunner, and I had to give him a little extra cash, or he gave me a little extra cash, one of those ways anyway. And then I took the Roadrunner and I put some Hemi springs on it, leaf springs, and by the time I finished that and had it all ready to go to the track, I bought a 1992 Dodge Dakota with a 440 and put the 440 in it and my 727 Torque Flight trans, and I started racing that. But I raced that Kota from I think about 2002 all the way until I ran the crap out of that car. But I raced it for several years, from 2002 to about 2007, and that's when I bought the the 92 Dakota. It was sweet. It was set up for racing. I saw the girl was driving it. It was owned by Cultus Race Engines, but they had this girl driving it, and she was good. I mean, she went like 1140, 1141, 1140, 1141 all day, every day. And so I wanted something, because I'm a bracket racer, so I wanted something that was super, consistent, and that was. And so I bought it. I had to talk him out of it. He wanted 10 grand. I told him you can have your motor and trans, and then he said 4,500, but the rear end didn't come with it. So I sold my other brother my Roadrunner that I had just got back from my GTX, that I got back from my other brother, and for 500. And that's all I needed. And this is my brother, so what difference do it make? I sold it to him, which he still has it to this day, which I'm tempted to go and get it and start all over again. But then I'll be back drag racing. I don't want to do that, because I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor now, so That's what killed my drag racing. And it was either be a pastor, 24/7, 365, or go drag racing. I chose to be a pastor. So anyway, that's why I'm driving now in this. Because since I can't go to this track Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what I decided to do was to build me a streetcar. Something that make a little noise, a little quick, so I'm not totally embarrassed. And you know what I mean. But I'm telling you, all my other cars sucked up gas like it was free. And I couldn't run. And I only had a 10-to-1 compression in that 440. But it liked 93 octane. And I can remember when my first used racing gas, 110, it was only $3.10 a gallon. Okay. When I started running 93 octane, prices had changed. And it was costing me as much for 87 octane as it was for racing gas. So things got kind of tight. So I wanted something that I could just jump into and go. Got blinkers, got rear view mirrors, it got side view mirrors. It's got a carpet on the floor. I've never had a race car with carpet on the floor. Okay, but this one has. It even have cruise control. Now, I don't like air conditioning. I know some people like, you tripping. Well, I live in Michigan. It gets hot. Yeah, it gets really hot. But I don't like air conditioning unless I'm in the house. Then I love it. But outside, not so much. But anyway, I wanted something I could cruise. And that's how I ended up in here. Got this baby for, like I said, for $1,800. And the work I did on it, I probably spent about $2,000 into it, because I bought tires, rims, all that kind of crap. Beautified stuff. I didn't have to do no engine parts. I didn't have to jank the motor out and take it to the shop and get new bearings and rings, and get the rods hardened. I didn't have to do all that. So I only spent about $2,000. And I sold the 92 Dakota for $7,000. And I only paid $4,500 for it. So I used that money to build this up. I'm not through with it. I still got some work to do. Excuse me, but I'm just learning how to work my way through all this fuel infection stuff. I mean, all these stupid sensors, and they run the motor, and it's nothing to turn with a screwdriver, and I like pliers a lot, and ain't nothing to use the pliers on. It's sensors, throttle positioning sensors, idle air control sensor, mass airflow sensor, crank position, cam sensors, tip sensors. I'm used to those, but this have two of those, But, and of course I got rid of that big old giant cut your hand straight off clutch fan and put in a 3,000 PSI 16-inch fan, which works just fine, and that's it. It's cool. And this thing runs. And it drives. Like I say, the guy had the computer wiped and took the governor off. And, and he ran it without, I don't know how he did it, but when I brought this thing home and I took it off the trailer and drove it into my backyard, this thing started and ran, and you could light up the tires, right? And didn't have one O2 sensor on it, and it wasn't burning black smoke running super rich. Now, how and the purge valve, the entire EGR system is just cut off. I don't even know how he did it. But it's working. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working my way through that kind of stuff. But I like it. I just got to get this stupid transmission shield. You can barely hear the torque converter bolts hit me. But that's nothing. I used to pull my 727 out, change the seals, clutches and steels, put it back together, and put it back in the same day, and then go racing the next day. So, you know, whatever's going on with this dust shield on the transmission, I'll get that straightened out. You know, but what I'm trying to do is to see if, because I have 4 O2 sensors on here now with no catalytic converter. I put an X pipe where the catalytic converter pipe goes, and I have an X pipe muffler at the end of the system, which turns down at the axle. I don't like tailpipes. I had some on my 97 Dodge Ramicus 15.0. And I took those off, and now it turns down at the axle. I don't like them. I just don't like tailpipes. I worked in a muffler shop, and I used to have to make them because some cars come in there, and I was the one that did dual exhaust systems and all that crap. So that means I had to make everything from the exhaust manifold or header all the way to the back. But on here, after the pace setters, I have some true 2.5-inch dual exhaust system to the X pipe, and then 2.5-inch to the muffler and 2.5-inch turn downs at the axle. So it's a true dual exhaust system, not one of them dual exhaust mufflers at the back of the muffler, or 1 in, 2 out muffler with 2 tailpipes. But it rides really well, no problems at all. 4 brand new tires on it. 4 brand new rims. I shrunk the rims. He had some whatchamacallits on here. Some 17-inch rims, but that would eat up the rear end. The 392 would become something like a 383. It's like knocking teeth out the gear. So what I did was I shrunk the tire size 2 inches, and that made the 392 jump up to a 4 something without even doing anything. And it's a whole lot quicker than a 60 foot. Now it might suffer a little bit on top end, but this thing got overdrive, so and if I was going to drag race it, I would be shifting it somewhere around 52 or 5400, because it ain't got that much of a cam in it. It's just stock. But it's like the crate motors Chrysler had. It's like that. And what they did with the crate motor, it made about 245, 250 horsepower, which is kind of tripped out if you think about that. that's no horsepower really. But anyway, I did a lot of things on this to free up horsepower, like getting rid of the clutch fan. That frees up horsepower. Anything you can do to lighten it. I took the battery out from under the hood and mounted it in the bed, along with the battery sensor. Yeah, this thing has a battery sensor. It lets the battery, it reads the battery temperature, and it tells the alternator, okay, charge. Okay, the battery's cool, no charge. But I didn't know that until the battery kept going dead, and I'm wondering why. Well, I found out I didn't hook up the sensor. And if you don't hook up the sensor, the computer can't tell the alternator to charge the battery. That is retarded. But I don't know what kind of convenience that was, but somebody thought it was a convenience, so they did it. used to get there at 7 in the morning, and I wouldn't leave till 12 at night, because track closed at 12. If you make rounds, then you could run into the night, especially if there's enough oil downs and things like that. You end up, splitting the pot at the end of the night. I've been in that situation twice. I lost a lot. In fact, I didn't win one round of racing. I was at Detroit Dragways when I started in '96. Before that, I worked on people's cars. They went to the track, and I went with them. But now I'm driving my own, and that was when I got the GTX. And I sucked at driving big time. I could work on them and put them together, but I couldn't tune worth a crap. And I super sucked at driving. Super sucked. Put it like this. Me and the guy next to me, his name was Harry, out of Romeo, Michigan. He was a really cool guy. And he sold me my first trailer, because he got it enclosed, sold me his open. Anyway, we had the same motor, same transmission, same rear end. Now I hadn't put a floor shifter in yet, and I had a tag, but it was an old Sun tag with no light on it, and so I'm shifting with what I like to call the Parnando, the PRNDL. That's back in the day. That's had an L at the end for low. Anyway, we called it the Parnando. I'm trying to shift with that thing. I'm trying to going down the track, trying to watch the tag and shift at the right RPM, which at that time I was shifting at 5,600. Anyway, it wasn't working very well. He was running 1215s. I was running 1365s. I don't think you can suck any worse at driving and shifting than that. Now, the horsepower was always the same, 112 miles an hour. But the elapsed time was all due to driving. One day I'm out there just wondering what in the world is going on. So my brother, with the super fast Kota, he got a 70 Kota too. We raced one time, and I looked over to the left. I got him on the light, right? But I looked over to the left and saw the underbody of his car. He was up in the air, and I literally saw him hit second gear in the air. And then he came down, hit third, bounced it back up, and came back down. And then he coasted to the end and blew me out. Anyway. Yeah, that was fun. But running that Roadrunner was a lot of fun. Running the 440 was a lot of fun. But learning how to drive, well, that was something I seriously needed to learn how to do, because I don't think anybody on this planet sucked worse than that. My lights was in the 3s. My reaction time was in a perfect light is 000. I was 3 something. But I got that all together. The last day at Detroit, I got me a shifter, a floor shifter. I got me a B&M mega shifter. Popped that in there. I went to Summit. I also ordered a shift light. I didn't have to order a new tack with a light, just the light. And then I hooked all of that up, and the light comes on when you're supposed to shift. And the floor shifter, it's not like trying to shift a Parnando, okay? The floor shifter, literally, you just touch it and it go into the next gear. You don't even have to look at it. And Lord knows I didn't. I got so used to that thing, I was just banging it, going down the track. But when I did that, that was on the last day that Detroit Dragway was open. I got my best reaction time, which was 000, a perfect light, and I ran my best time, 1240 at 112 miles an hour. Like I say, horsepower is determined by mile power. Tell you if your horsepower falling off, but it always stayed the same. Elapsed time is directly related to driving. How are you shifting? Are you shifting at the right time? Are you shifting at the right RPM? How are you driving? Because that's going to be different all the time. So I came around and went back again. I didn't get another perfect light, but I got an old light. Anything between an old, I would say, in the early rounds of bracket racing, anything between like a old to old 30 light could get you a win. But anything worse than that, it's going to be a struggle. Okay, so I started getting some old lights because I didn't really care. When I saw the third light come on, I had figured out that my car, the GTX, took a half a second to start moving. In other words, I would stump the gas, the front would rise up, the back would set down, then the car would move forward. That took a half a second. The distance, the time between the lights on the Christmas tree was a half a second. And so when the third yellow came on, I stumped the gas. And sure enough, the front lifted, the back sat down, and as I was leaving the line, I'm looking at the light, the green light, and the green light comes on. While I'm moving, the green light comes on. And so that's a good reaction time. That's when you know you got a good one. If you think you red lit, but you saw the green light as you was going by, you got a good light you off to a good one. Yeah, so I finally did learn how to get better, but I still didn't win a round of racing until August 1998. So I lost round one every single race from 96 all the way to August of 98. Can you imagine that? You lose every single round all that time. That's how the car became Runner for Christ. That's how the name came for the car. I figured if I'm definitely not a winner at drag racing, so I figured I'd get some use out of it, and I put Runner for Christ on it. It didn't make me win, because I started that at Detroit Dragway. Detroit Dragway closed October 27, 1997. I didn't start winning, that's for sure. But the ministry took off. And now, Runner for Christ Ministries is the church I pastor. Yeah, the race car turned into a church. It was a miracle. There's somebody like me who had to join the same church 6 times because I skipped so much, end up being a pastor. Somebody who don't even go to church regularly anyway ends up being the pastor of the church. That is wild. Only God could do something like that. But anyway, yeah, that's how I ended up here. Now I'm a pastor. I don't have a whole, like right now, I'm leaving the waterfront because they had the Memorial Day thing, and I live in the city, so they called me up to do the Memorial Day prayer, and then I have to go up there in the winter for the Christmas tree lighting. But I love it. I love it. Nikita Bryant, all of the people who run it, Kimberly Alexander and the whole crew. I love it. It just makes my day. Plus, I get to cruise my hot boy. Oh yeah, and the guy put a baby torque converter. I call it a baby torque converter because it's like got a 2200 stall. And I knew it had some kind of stall in it, or either I was going to have to put a trans in it because, you know, it would idle through the cam with not pulling the motor down. You could put it in drive and it didn't pull it down. So I knew that it had some kind of stall in it. The guy who built it told me it's supposed to be a 2800. But depending on the torque of your motor, how much of that 2800 are you going to be able to use? See what I mean? You can make all that noise feel like the train slipping. But it's not. It's a stall speed. I never ran one in none of my race cars. This is going to sound crazy. Okay. I never ran of my race cars, okay, I always ran a stock converter with a 440. You talking about eating up some stall. That thing ate that stall for breakfast. I could push that car with slicks on it. The best stall I can get out of it was about 1,500. That was it. At 1,500 RPM, that was it. If you wanted more than that, the back tires would be spinning or the front tires would be sliding. One way or the other. One of those was going to happen. But, you know, I had a ton of fun drag racing. I had a ton of fun doing this cruise. Cool, y'all could ride along with me. Hey, y'all want to pull a whole shot? Hey, let's do that. We're right in my backyard. Ain't no police in my backyard. And my wife is in the house. Okay, she ain't in the truck with me. Because if she was in the truck, she wouldn't let me do this. So let's pull us a quick hole shot. I want to crack this window so y'all can hear the noise. Yeah, now if I run into my house, it's y'all fault. Okay, and I'm going to be coming after each one of y'all that watch this video and subscribe and like. Coming to your house to get some money to pay for this stuff I told them. Amen. Oh boy, here we go. Woo. I love that stuff. Okay, but I said I ain't gonna drag race this truck, and I'm not gonna drag race it. But every now and then I'm gonna pull a whole shot. Get a shot in. All right, let me put my security on. Put on my cool glasses. All right, y'all have a blessed holiday. Have yourself some fun. Eat too much. Eat way too much. Then work out and work it all off. Okay, God bless you guys. Keep you. This is Pastor O in the 5.9 RT Kota signing off. Hey, I need y'all to subscribe and what'd you say, Jesus? It's subscribe. Oh, I need y'all to subscribe and like. I like scribe. So I need y'all to subscribe and like. Okay? Subscribe and like. That's what everybody be saying. Every time I watch stuff on YouTube, they be like, subscribe and like. Can you subscribe and like? Some of them, while you're watching the video, this thing will pop up and it will say, subscribe and like. So, you know, everybody else is doing it. I'm kind of new to this YouTube thing. So I need you to subscribe and like. And comment. Comment. Say Pastor O something. There you go. Amen. God bless you guys. Keep you. Pastor O signing out.